times.
But shouldn't we be bothered about the unstable exchange rate?
That's what I'm saying. That's the point I'm making, that this is going to exacerbate it. There's been some stability for some time now, okay? There's been some stability. We're already concerned, for instance, about a high interest rate element in the economy. The central bank, they're struggling to see how this thing can be managed. To inject further liquidity by increasing this exchange rate, by this benchmark, is going to exacerbate the situation. That's the point we're making. It's going to exacerbate the inflationary trend in the economy.
You know, a host of people disagree with you that,
Yes.
you know, the altercation between the executive and the legislature is reaching an all-time high, because they would remember clearly in 2008 under late President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, when he refused to sign the appropriation bill because, you know, it was way beyond what the executive has sent to the legislature. I mean, it was massively hiked. And there was even a threat of going to the Supreme Court to decide who has the power to plan. Is it the executive or the legislators? And at the end of the day, a truce of sorts was agreed in 2008, and they were able to sign that particular budget. In this year, we haven't seen that kind of altercation. What we have seen is a marginal shift, as it were. It went into the National Assembly at $71. It came out, was it at 75? A relative increase, as it were. If you speak with a host of people, I mean, we've heard governors speak, especially when it comes to talking about the Federation account and saving money. A host of people will say that we do not need to save right now. We're a developing country and we should spend as much as we can because we're in dire need of infrastructure. Do you not believe that this is where the members of the National Assembly could be approaching this budget or this medium-term expenditure framework from?
Well, it's possible, okay? And my response is very simple, okay? First of all, let me start from, let me look at the comments that you just made. Now, question of whether the altercation has reached an all-time high or all-time low is relative, okay? And it depends on how you want to look at it at various periods in the presidencies we've had, okay? But I very much wish that at the time that there was that threat to go to the Supreme Court to seek interpretation of our Constitution, that it was done. Indeed, it is something that the NESG has considered at one time, and perhaps, I make this point now, we might reopen that possibility, okay? Because this altercation, or however you choose to describe it, does not serve the people. In my view, it does not serve the people, okay? Now, on the matter of whether or not we should save money, Mope, let me ask you a question, right? As an individual, do you spend every money you earn? Do you, for instance, spend every your monthly salary completely?
It's an interesting question, and I'll provide an answer by saying that on the one hand, we might be saving money as a country. I mean, we have the excess Crude account. On the other hand, we're still looking for loans from international organizations. We're going to the IMF, we're looking at the World Bank, we're looking at the Exim banks. How can we reconcile our savings with the loans that we're getting from all of these international organizations?
It is not out of place for you to borrow, okay? If you're able to get development loans, which usually are very concessionary rates, okay? It is cheaper for you to use someone else's money than for you to use your own money. It's a lot better for you to save that money as a country, as a people, okay? And use very cheap concessionary interest, or even in some cases, almost interest-free loans. In some cases, developmental loans. It is much better for you to do that. It's the pragmatic thing to do. If I'm going to get a 40-year line and with a concessionary rate of say 2% and a 10-year moratorium, okay, it makes sense for me to take that, okay. But when it becomes excessive, okay, when you take it and do not put it into productive sectors, then there is a major problem right there. There's a major problem right there. So as a matter of fact, right, there are various options that you can explore, okay, as a developing country. And what you've just mentioned is just one of those options that you can explore, okay? And for me, I said something to you. I think we should be more concerned about the quality of our expenditure than in how much money we make available or do not make available.
Quality.
The quality of the expenditure.
How's that?
Okay, our inability to channel expenditures into more productive sectors is a major problem. And there, I'm going to the issue of corruption within our system, okay? To make sure that a project that costs, say, that's going to cost, say, $10 in the UK, costing, say, $100 in Nigeria. Why? Because of all the things, the middlemen and all the kickbacks and things you have to do. That should be our concern. Those are the kinds of oversight responsibilities that I expect that the National Assembly will focus on to make sure that the expenditures that are proposed, okay, are watertight, that they are prudent. Those are the kinds of things that we should be looking at, okay?
Let's see if we can draw a comparison with what we had in 2012. I think we had $72 per barrel in 2012 compared to what we have now. And sometimes we try to look at some other figures of other countries. For instance, in Algeria,
yes,
they pegged gas at $37 per barrel for the year 2012. So how did we fare with our $72 per barrel compared with other countries, maybe, for instance, Algeria, $37 per barrel?
I'm glad that you bring that up, okay? And for me, again, you must look at it in a couple of ways, okay? Algeria is, is also a middle income, country, and with very good quality infrastructure as well, but also are in the middle of, major social upheavals due to unemployment and things, okay? And unless one sees, say, the structure of their budget, okay, I may not be able to comment in an informed way why, for instance, they chose that rather low benchmark, okay? But if you look at it, match it against the international oil price, hovering between 110 to 115 currently, okay? And they're saving as much as almost 80% of what they're going to earn. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? Okay, and then you look at it again, look at Saudi Arabia, look at, say, Angola, look at Kuwait, look at Qatar, look at Venezuela, for instance, okay? So you find that countries are consciously stacking up. They're constantly stacking up, okay? Every country understands a need to save, no matter what kind of problems that they have. Okay. Ours should not be different.